I'm Zach with SPYR Network, and today we're going to do a complete overview of a rural home internet install. So first thing we do, once our technician shows up on site, they have a look at the general layout of the house, get an idea of where the antenna needs to go for the cable run, the mounting, and optimal connection to our tower. Once he determines that, we get the antenna installed on the mount, fixed to the house, and then work on the cable routing in from the antenna down into the home. Usually it's where the utilities come into the house. Once the cable's routed in, it gets terminated and then it connects into our home router, and that hands off the internet service. Once that's all complete, you have an active working internet connection. From there, the Wi-Fi may not reach all areas of your house, and that's completely normal. We'll take a look at the house and get an idea of where you need coverage, and a lot of times need to add in Wi-Fi access points like these mesh points, and that connects back into the main router to rebroadcast the Wi-Fi signal elsewhere in your house. Our skilled technicians are professionals at mounting the antennas and routing all the cables, so we make sure every install has a very clean look. Obviously we want to make sure your house looks great, so we'll route the cables where they need to go, but make sure to hide them wherever we can, and also keeping into mind where the antenna goes to make sure it's not a big eyesore on your house. Let's head over to the house and take a look at how we install and configure the antenna. So we're here at the customer's house, and we're going to take a look at where the antenna was mounted, how it was installed. It's a very simple process. There's no wires that are run to the house. We simply set up the service antenna in a location on the roof that has best connection to our tower, and then we route an Ethernet cable from that antenna down into the home. On this house in particular, it was put on the side of their chimney stack so we could keep the antenna off the roof, and it kind of hides it behind the roof line itself, so it is aesthetically pleasing. And that's about all that's involved in getting the antenna attached to the house. We just saw where the antenna was mounted, and now looking at the cable run, we just simply tuck it into the siding and fascia and wherever we can to hide the cable, bring it down the house, and it just follows the other main utilities. We drill a 3/8 hole, usually where the power comes in, router cable in, seal it up so it's nice and clean. It's a really easy, quick installation. And now we'll go take a look at the router side of things inside the house. Where that cable entry point was on the outside, it drops into the foundation here and comes down into the basement. And it's this black service cable here, and that plugs into the antenna power supply. So that's what actually powers the surface antenna on the roof. And then there's just a short patch cable that runs over to the router that we program. This hands off the Wi-Fi. And it has Ethernet ports on the back as well if the customer needs to plug anything in, like a switch or TVs, things like that. So this is a pretty standard setup basically we do in every house. And now we'll go have a look at one of the mesh Wi-Fi boosters that we have on the other side of the house, just because this covers about half of the house with how long it is. And that secondary one will give them access on the other side in the office and their bedrooms. We're over in the office of the house now, which is on the opposite side. And it's obviously quite far from the router, so we put one of our mesh boosters here, and it just hardwires. We used one of the Ethernet drops that was running the house already, and it plugs in with a hardwire. Once it has connectivity to the main router, it just auto provisions the Wi-Fi network to match what the router was running and rebroadcasts it over here. So no matter where you roam in the house with your tablet or phone, you come over here, it'll connect to this access point. If you go back to the other side, it'll connect to the router, so the customer has seamless coverage throughout their house. And that wraps up a typical SPYR install.